Thanks for agreeing to do this interview. So we've known each other a couple of years now, but we've probably worked together as coach and client for coming up to a year now, I think. It was sort of July
Yeah.
last year, wasn't it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
before we worked together, how were you feeling about your fitness and performance, specifically around like your lifting and your running? And what were your main struggles at the time?
Uh, obviously, obviously, I'm training for a marathon now. Before running wise, lifting wise, I think it was lifts wise. I'm probably hitting quite a lot of plateaus in terms of like so classic like bench, squat, deadlifts. I kind of felt I wasn't really making any progress and potentially not getting weaker, but losing sort of strength markers or kind of dropping off on some weight, some exercises, almost having no real structure to my probably training programs as well. Um, Similar with running, I think again I was always having the goal of wanting to do a marathon like I am now, but I was a bit like I think without the kind of guidance or kind of probably the accountability side, I was just kind of occasionally in a run, might not run it. And I think again, wise was pretty much like going from a 5K to a 10K, and it wasn't really specific to what I wanted to do. If that kind of answers the question, shall I say?
Yeah. And what was it then that at that time made you sort of commit to this training program? What was it about the program that sort of made you come on board?
I think for me, it was probably obviously structure is obviously a big thing, and obviously as someone who gives out kind of rehab, I kind of know it. But I think from a personal level, it was almost kind of like I need something else to go right. I know if I'm doing these exercises, for example, it will benefit running, but also again like it will help me like improve. Like that could be like a bench press, my squat, or say example like RDL wise, I was probably when I started probably hitting like 1.2 to 1.3 times body weight, and then now I'm probably like 1.6 or higher. But again, yes, heavyweight, but form's good. Again, little things like that going, where can I improve for all kind of, gain, shall we say, but with a better focus really in that sense. And then it's kind of almost doing those exercises. How is that going to help my running form, my running economy? Or how is that going to make me a better runner? Where before it's like, and obviously you see it online, it's very much like, here's, I don't know, like the top 5 best running exercises. It's like, okay, it sounds great, but that probably may or may not be applicable to me. Where we've kind of gone, okay, let's look at your strength, which is obviously important, but also let's look at your weaknesses from upper and lower body and go, right, keep the strengths high, but let's really kind of target those weaknesses. So for me, with running, obviously, it's right. My right Achilles isn't probably the strongest, and obviously, like my left IT band. So again, we changed running gait and how I run in that sense. So I went from like a 4-foot striker to like a heel midfoot, and obviously for me that feels more comfortable. Yes, I'm putting more load on the right Achilles potentially, but then we've gone right. Here's exercises to help strengthen that and the kind of right calf complex to kind of benefit that. And I think as well, like even from the structure, it's like everything away from the training. So like, right, how can you improve your sleep? How can we keep your energy levels high with the kind of training volume you're doing? Because it's almost a kind of, I think, again, having previous programs like, okay, here's your weights, here's kind of running stuff, but there's no kind of like, here's what to do in between to kind of help you, get the most out of those kind of training sessions, shall I say, in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah. And obviously with your background in sport therapy, I'm guessing you've got a bit more of like an attuned sense to where injuries and sort of tight points are occurring. So do you feel the program was then addressing that part of your mindset as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so with that, obviously, I mean, it's obviously when I'm doing training, I sometimes switch out of that mindset, especially running wise. Obviously, I know like we had a prime example. Like, I halfway through my marathon training, I probably tried to push it too soon. I was kind of in that runner's mindset, and then obviously it's like my manager obviously got that sports therapy background. It's like, okay, I know I got this, but then also I'm like, because I've got you training, we can go. That's fine, Ed. We can reduce down, sort of within a week, and it's better. And I think again, like I kind of when you give me exercise, like if I pitch pre-throw, I go, well, you're looking at it from a yes, kind of performance aspect, but then an injury reduction rate as well. And I think for someone like myself with my background, it's like, okay, I know I've gone to the right person because they know what they're doing, but also they can explain why why you're giving me those exercises and kind of going right to example. Like I've got so like a lunge calf raise weighted, like isometric at start. Now we're going to like isotonics, but it's like a right, you're doing this to kind of, again, pain relief, but also that kind of tendon stiffness for running. And I think, again, it's that kind of for me, kind of say your program versus like someone else, it's like it's got that sport specific detail that I need, not just here's a bunch of strength exercises, do 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, without being harsh to other trainers. You can go latch head, yes, we might do some, heavy squats, heavy RDLs, but actually let's do some kind of specific exercise that could be like isometrics for tendon health, kind of pure power movements as well. And again, it's that kind of thing. My background, knowing how that improves, it's quite nice to kind of have someone who understands that and go, yes, you may work better things, but I can give you the same thing, shall I say, as well. So yeah, I think overall program wise, it's a lot more sport specific, but then I'm also getting in like as a male class things like still doing bench press, still doing chest work, because obviously all males love that, should I say. So again, I'm getting like sport specific stuff, but I'm also getting, other work on. So it's not like, right, what's your one goal? It's like, if you've got multiple goals, you're kind of going, we can make sure we tick each one off, shall I say, in that sense as well.
So running the marathon and getting a pump at the same time, basically.
Exactly. That's good. I like that to win.
How do you feel about things now? How do you feel about sort of your strength and your running and your overall performance?
I think, I know obviously we discussed it the other day. I think for me, probably running wise is probably the best I've felt in terms of like just running overall. Like I feel more confident running. I feel like distance wise, yes, they are quite long. It's quite a lot of volume, but I feel like I've got the lower body strength and capacity to withstand that. So I think lower body wise is probably the strongest I've felt in like probably years, to be fair, since playing rugby. And I think again that's because again I've had specific programming to kind of go, yes, you want to get strength, yes, we still probably want to get some, hypertrophy muscle gains in, but it's like actually let's make sure everything is benefiting that running. And I think again before it's like when I've tried to run and lift at the same time, it's very much like, oh, I'm just doing generic lower body exercises. Are they really better than running, or are they actually kind of increasing my fatigue levels, almost, kind of almost hindering my kind of ability to run further or run with better kind of gait, really? And I think again, it's that probably overall, I probably feel strong and healthy, but it's also little things like, when we probably first started together, my sleep was not the greatest, shall I say? And obviously that's like loads of other contributing factors where now it's like, right, I've got a good bedtime routine. I'm going to sleep at more consistent. I'm getting up at more consistent time. Quality of sleep is better as well as duration. Nutrition wise, I'd probably happily say, even though again, working in sports around at times it's healthy, but other times it's probably quite unhealthy where now, we're getting a good amount of protein, a good amount of carbs in, fats comes with it, but hydration's improved. It's almost all I think the overall picture, I think from training outside training is a lot better because we've kind of gone, right, yes, training's important, but what are the other things we can improve as well? And I think that's probably a big difference I see from working with like a previous coach or even like, having different experiences. It's never that kind of quality in the sense of, we're covering everything, not just here's a training program, go off and do it, feedback to me like 4-6 weeks time, for example.
Yeah. So that sort of continuous check-in was one of the big features for you that was beneficial throughout the process.
100%. Now I'll happily admit I probably wasn't the greatest at doing it, but when I did do it, it's like almost it kind of allowed, like you said, it's like some weeks I could have a really good week and I could be like, James, everything's fine. There'd be weeks where I've gone, I actually struggle with this, and it's almost allowed us to kind of tailor everything a little bit more instead of kind of you're going, right, here's, your block of training, watching that, we'll check in. It's almost like we can always constantly adapt it. And I think for most times we haven't had to adapt much, but I might go, oh, James, like I can't fit in, I can't fit in 2 gym sessions this week, and I can only do 1 gym session with 2 runs. You're like, that's fine. We can take that gym session to make sure you're getting the max amount out of it, where normally we break up in 2, but without over fatiguing you because you still got 2 runs in between as well, should I say. And I think it's little things like that instead of, you'll give me something and it's like, right, Ed, any issues, message me, but we won't check into 4 weeks. And I've gone, well, I've only done, 1 session a week instead of 2. And again, I think it's that ability to kind of tailor each week instead of kind of every few weeks is kind of what allows me to kind of think, go from, I'm starting down here, quite poor running, poor strength, to kind of up here now. And obviously marathon this weekend, I'm probably in the best possible kind of shape and position to kind of smash it, shall I say, in that sense as well.
So obviously we're hoping to hit your target in that marathon, but along the way, has there been what were some of the biggest breakthroughs you've had? What were some of the moments where sort of you realised the training was working?
I think for me, I think probably one of my I before kind of doing this track, I've never run a half marathon before. Now, obviously, to get to marathon, obviously, as you know, obviously we've done it. We've thrown distance over half a marathon. I think for me, for example, when we've done our training, we kind of do like 3-4 weeks of increased distance, drop it for a little taper deload. And I think in one of those months, I think it'd be March, when I was kind of right, I'm getting over half marathon now. I did probably 3 runs each week that were all over half marathon, and probably again from a strength gym aspect, I think is quite important. Sometimes missed from runners is like each of those weeks I've got a PB in a half marathon. Now, I haven't probably, we've set and we've agreed on like a target pace to work at, because obviously it's a lot longer. It's not like a short 5K, but I think it's the fact of like each week I felt stronger where I could either gone, do you know, actually I feel okay, I can push a little bit higher than this pace. And I think again it's kind of showed that with the kind of tailored running programming, the volume's controlled. Yes, it's a lot, but it's gradual, and I'm not overloading or underloading. It's that perfect amount. Plus gym work, it's gone like, well, yes, I've set an aim of 4 hours and 30 minutes marathon, but I could probably do it quicker because I feel like I've got that in the locker to do it, shall I say? And I think again, it's kind of that tailoring training all the time to go, if we can push, we can push, or if we know need to ease off, we can ease off.
And sort of alongside the marathon prep, then in the gym as well, obviously you've touched on some of the progress you made with certain lifts. Have there been any big sort of milestones you've hit that you were struggling to hit for a while?
I think for me, like probably, I mean, it's still probably a challenge now, but even like bench press, to be fair, like I think before I was probably only really hitting like body weight, and that was probably like for 3, 4, 5 reps, if that. Where now I'm probably up to like probably 1.2, probably 1.4 times weight, which for me is, the bench has always been like my kind of weakest lift, is quite good. And I think again, naturally, I think I'm doing a lot of running, I'm going to lose the gains, which isn't really the case, shall I say? I think for me again, body weight wise, I think I only lost 0.4 kilograms since training, where a lot of people tend to shred a lot. And again, I think it's because they change their diet. They kind of go, oh, I don't need as many carbs, or I take more protein. And again, we've kind of gone, no, we don't really need everything in equal amount as well. And I think, sorry, back to gym, like say, for example, deadlift, because I like to do a trap bar deadlift. I've probably gone from doing about like 120 for 6 reps to kind of go up to like 140. I think the max done is like 7 reps per done AMRAM set. So again, it's that kind of like, again, probably since we've started, it's like, again, a good 20 kilograms plus. If not, I could probably do more on my lift. And I think it's just little things like that going, yes, I'm improving running, but I can still get, goals in the gym complete as well. And I think, again, sometimes it's knowing like you don't have to set one goal, we can set multiple, and we can still work on all of them without going, oh, I'm running a marathon, I'm going to lose all my strengths. Like, no, actually, you can still get strong while doing it, as long as, you're kind of programming it right, shall I say, as well.
Yeah, definitely. Right. And then last question. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about joining the Evans Performance Training Program but isn't sure at the moment?
I think for me, I think the big thing, obviously, my background, most people go, oh, Ed, you'll know what to do. And I think even if, you're a seasoned kind of gym goer, runner, cyclist, whatever it is, I think for me, it's that kind of accountability is number one. It's like, again, we've got those weekly check-ins. You'll always message me in between those weekly check-ins, see how stuff's going. If I comment on a workout that I've done going, oh, I struggle with that, you'll instantly message and go, okay, how was it? Can I give you any cues to help? That could be form-wise, improve it. Two, I think, again, it's so specifically tailored. Now, you hear that chucked around a lot, but I've seen other coaches and other programs, I'm like, it's nowhere specific as that. So, example, say like, we've discussed, I got a marathon each time. We've literally set, right, again, you've calculated using my body weight and kind of almost going, right, when do I need to consume, say, like energy on my marathon? And then we've actually broken down, right, each segment of the marathon. Here's your pace you want to work at. You can go faster, right? And like, here's each kind of like time pace to hit that 4 hours 30. Now, I don't know anyone else who does kind of programming that specific, but also support as well in terms of, your kind of sleep, nutrition, stress levels. Like we've talked about, how can like I deload mentally as well, not just physically. And I think again, yeah, for anyone who's kind of on the fence, I think it's more if you want something super specific and tailored to your needs and your goals, I don't think you're going to find it anywhere else, by you, shall I say, James, because it's the difference between you and, like, let's say, for example, I'll take runner for example. It sounds great, but it's so generic. It's not going to be as tailored to you. And again, that's not to dig at runner or start a war with them. But again, I think you've got certain goals you'll achieve a lot quicker and with a higher success rate and still progression and with you compared to, I know, another trainer or like an app, shall I say, in that sense as well. So I think, yeah, it's the kind of detail and level of training and specifics that go into your design program that probably stands you out from the rest, shall I say.